Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Get It Right with Atara Solutions. This is Tuesday, 8th of November. We are very excited to see you and to be hosting you this evening. Catherine, I have tried to wait for you until I decided, you know what, Topata tumesonga. So welcome. My name is Grace Nzula. I am the host of Get It Right with Atara Solutions. And we normally host this with one Catherine Sidandi. Catherine Sidandi is our sign language interpreter who supports us and makes sure that we are inclusive. Of course, we have Kevin Adipo. Kevin Adipo today is unable to speak, but he's with us. And we are very excited to be having this conversation today because before the HR awards that are happening in Kenya at the end of this month, I am still the HR trendsetter of the year. And so we are in the business of discussing what is trending in our workplaces. And for that matter, that's why today we are discussing quiet quitting. But before we get there, this is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. It's a webinar series that seeks to demystify issues in entrepreneurship and employment. We do this every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you're joining us for the first time, karibu sana, or welcome. It is an honor to have you. Thank you so much. We wouldn't do this without you, our audience, so we appreciate you. And we have been doing this since June 23rd, 2020. And in season 3, which is what we are on now, started on 18th of January 2022. And we intend to finish season 3 on the 29th of November 2022 as well. So stay locked. This is our last month of this webinar series for season 3. And of course, we just take a month's break and we're back in January 2023. Oh my God, how time is flying. All right. And we do this in partnership with a number of organizations. Allow me to just give them a recognition. We have, all right. We are in partnership with Balcon Housing. Balcon Housing is a real estate and property management company located in Nairobi. They are in the business of selling land, buying land, property management, where if you have a building and you're looking for people to manage it for you, then Balcon Housing do that as a service. If you're looking for a piece of land to buy or invest in, then Balcon Housing would be your best bet. And then if you have a piece of land and you're looking to sell as well, they will be able to support you on that. So Balcon Housing is a real estate and property management company. Then we have Stallion Construction Company. Stallion Construction is in the construction business. They do renovations. They do build buildings. They also do repairs. So if you're looking to change the tiles in your house, if you're looking to put blinders in your offices, if you're looking to subdivide your offices, if you're looking to just put up a whole building all together, then Stallion Construction Company do that. And then we have Pathway Solution Services. Pathway Solution Services is a training company. They actually have been offering our audience free trainings on their LMS. LMS is Learning Management System. You actually do the sessions self-based. I know Akina Brian Musisi have been beneficiaries. Rosemary Atemo has also been able to do that. Kevin Adipo has also been able to get the training for free. This is fully sponsored. They have also been offering companies free trainings on Zoom or Google Meets for about 1.5 to 2 hours on a topic of choice. And we're going to share with you what there is on offer today. They have been offering our audience as trainings fully sponsored by Pathway Solutions, and we are grateful for that. Frank, may God continue blessing you. And then we have Essence Park. Essence Park is a health and safety organization. They do waste management. So if you're here and you wonder what to do with your waste, Essence Park will be able to do that for you. They also have people who collect takataka, and then they also do health and safety. If you're looking to train like in Kenya, we have the mandatory OSH training. OSH is Occupation Health and Safety for your committee. We have fire safety as a mandatory training, as well as first aid, and they actually do that. So if you're in the organization, in the profession, and you're looking for people to support you in your training for OSH services, or you're looking for support anything on DOSH, then Essence Park will in that business. And then we have Panessa Training Institute. Panessa Training Institute is a Woodworking College or School. They are located on Mombasa Road in Nairobi. If you're looking to enhance your woodworking skills or you enjoy working with your hands, then Panessa Training Institute will be able to give you that skill. They also have a Saturday class, and they have been having an intake every Saturday. So if you're interested, please give us a call. If you have somebody who is interested in this, then you can always get in touch with us. And then we have WeClean. WeClean have a machine that cleans carpet within 6 minutes. Can you believe that? 6 minutes. They actually do free pickup and delivery around Nairobi, and they clean your carpet within 24 hours. So do not have to sweat about getting your carpet from your house, I don't know, to the car wash, and then it stays there for 4 days, then it comes, WeClean have made that easier. They have guys who will come pick the carpet. They actually lift the furniture to pick the carpet from your house. When they bring it back, they'll put it back as they received it. If you're looking to clean your curtains as well, they do that. So WeClean have come to make our work easier. So make sure that you're staying clean. And then we have Kapula Mintito. Kapula Mintito is, they sell coastal goods. If you're here and you're looking for cashew nuts, CMOS gel, for those of you who know what CMOS gel does. And then they also have the best mabuyu I have ever tasted from Mombasa. Please do not be left out. And of course, we have Profiles International. Profiles International, I'll be speaking about them in terms of what they are offering, because they have a course. They are the only people who are certified to for GNOS certification in terms of emotional intelligence, and I'll be sharing with you that shortly. And then, of course, we have Standard Quality Solutions Limited. This is an organization, a consulting organization that is located in Mombasa. In Kampala. My God, Herbert, you'll kill me. And it's a consultancy firm that offers HR, PR, and financial services, as well as corporate governance solutions. If you're here, whether you're, whatever it is from you're tuning in from, and you're looking for people who do PR, HR consulting services, by the way, for those in Kenya and you're looking for support in Kampala, then Standard Quality Solutions will be able to do that for you. And the way, and vice versa, so that you can, I mean, we live in the collaboration. And of course, allow me to recognize my good friend Herbert Zake, who shares our flyers in Kampala. We really appreciate you. Herbert is also the director at Steadfast Quality Solutions Limited. And we are very privileged to have you. And of course, oh my God, I'm so excited about this. It is the event of the year. Come 18th. This is next Friday, by the way. Don't think you have a lot of time, my people. Do not think you have a lot of time. Our event of the year is happening on Friday next week at the Weston Hotel from 5:30 p.m. Come network, come ready to dance, come ready to learn, come ready to meet people, come ready to network, come ready. If you're looking for a job, come and meet potential employers. If you're already employed and you're looking for people to interact with in your career, come there, they will all be there. If you're here and you're a business person, come and network, because we will have the event of the year happening on the 18th of November from 5:30 p.m. Please note, 18th of November is next week. Kina Nelson and Richard and Jairus, if you guys have not paid, Damaris, I am not mentioning names. Can you guys register? We have to do this. This is our end of year meet and greet cocktail event, and it will be happening at the Weston Hotel from 5:30 p.m. Come, let's learn, let's network, let's also create, invest in our social capital. And of course, we are looking for partners for that event. We have a package for 15,000 shillings. We have a package for 25,000 shillings. And we have a package for 40,000. It is going to be worth your while. So if you're here and your company is able to partner with us, please do not hesitate to get in touch with me. We are looking to make sure that the event is big and better. And I promise you, if you're a partner, you will get much more than you thought, because the partners who we get now will also give you support come in season 4 as much as we are doing this now. So do not worry, we got you. And then, of course, I talked about the GNOS Emotional Intelligence Practitioner Certificate. This is being offered by Profiles International. There's a 10% discount for early bird and 15% discount for ICF coaches. So if you're an ICF coach, you get 15% discount. If you're an early bird or you pay as soon as possible, then you get a discount of 10%. This is an IHRM accredited training, and you will get 6 CPD points. So it's time to rush and garner your points, because 2023 is not too far. All right. Thank you so much, our partners, for partnering with us. Make sure you register for the meet and greet cocktail event happening on the 18th of November from can the partners get the famed Mabuyu? Yes, they can. I am sure, Mintito, you are working on something and we will be able to get packs of the Mabuyus because these people have to taste them. So thank you so much. I have seen Rosie's on the call. She has written the details about the emotional intelligence course that is coming up. And I have seen Jacinta has shared the registration link for the meet and greet. Please check your chat because that one is an event you cannot afford to miss. Brian, I don't know how you're going to walk from Kampala to here. I do not know. Said, I don't know how you're going to get from Brussels to here. I don't know, but you guys have to show up. Yeah. All right. On to the business of the day. We have quiet quitting delivered to us by Coach Ande. I need to get to understand how to pronounce that name, but I will call him Coach Andrew. Coach Andrew is actually an HR professional. Allow me to just mention that. And he's a wonderful human being. Let me just say that. I think in summary, I can say that. And Andrew, I have been having a lot of questions about quiet quitting. And I know personally, it's not really a new concept, but it has been famed to be a new concept. So I'm sure you're going to unpack this for us, but tell us who is Coach Andrew, and how do we do quiet quitting? Okay, wait, let me introduce Andrew properly. You know, I hang out with Frida Owinga, and she tells us you must introduce people properly. So Andrew is a coach who has over 23 years management consulting experience, advising and coaching clients in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, among other places. He has provided advisory services across a variety of fields. This includes entrepreneurship, corporate governance, change management, strategic human resource management, organization development, leadership development, strategic planning, etc. He has worked in various consulting capacities with clients including Ministry of Health, Liberia, Uganda, BRAC International, ARMS Global, Medical Teams International. Oh, wow, my friend. See, you are experienced. He's a trainer and industrial or organization psychologist who has facilitated and supported organizational development initiatives that have impacted many people in Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America. My lords. So I want to be you when I grow up. What is quiet quitting? What are the realities of these whole concepts?
Thank you. I hope you hear me loud and clear.
Yes,
good to be on board. It's exciting to join hands and partner with the TAR Solutions. And thank you for the introduction. Nami nilizaliwa Nakuru, Kenya, so nafahamu Swahili vizuri, and my Kenyan colleagues, I'm just waiting to collect my my passport on that side. Everybody, you're welcome. And we're just going to run through what it takes, what it is for us, what is quiet quitting, and we're going to ask ourselves, look at the definition, what are the origins, under what context are we seeing it? We're going to be asking ourselves, how does it manifest? We're going to be the premises. We're going to look at what actions employers can take. We can look at what results.
Hi, Coach. We've lost him. Catherine. Yeah, okay. All right, so probably we can engage on the chat as Coach finds his way back. Maybe you can engage on the chat. Tell me, what do you think quiet quitting is? And have you witnessed it? Or are you going through quiet quitting? I know quite a number of my friends who are quiet quitting. So tell me, what is quiet quitting, and do you think you are there, or have you seen it happen? Let's engage on the chat. Let's engage on the chat. So, okay, Brenda says it's disengagement. I'm waiting for the chat, and our team on Facebook, please let us know what is quiet quitting and have you witnessed it? I know somebody who is on this call who actually is on quiet quitting. I like this one from Maston Minor. Absent present. Hey, you are there physically, but you're not there. Yeah. Wilfred said what? No, wait, I'm going up. Donald says resignation before actual resignation. And then Wilfred says just doing the bare minimum. Lynette Kilimatinda says low motivation. Of course, I've read absent present. Then Brenda says doing basic minimum. Marlene says resigning from work without notification. Judith says go slow. Mary Maguire says being at the workplace but not doing anything. Sabina says, I feel like I'm there. My heart is out. Kagirime says, where performance is below average. Purity says disengagement. Faraja says, being a victim of quitting workplace, relationship, and even a church without realizing it. And then Juliet says, left but there. And then Betty says, quiet quitting is a fancy name for microcity. Aha. Zachary says, it's a safe exit. Lucy says, resigning and staying. And then Nelly Okwero says, bare minimum performance. What is the contact period? And then Florence says, you are there physically, but mind is elsewhere. I feel you. And then Priscilla Mwanda says, checking out without leaving. WM says, perhaps switching off and running ideally on autopilot. Catherine Mbithe says, disconnecting. George Namai saying, being there, not there. Uko na hauko, it sounds really nice in Swahili. Uko na hauko, being there, not there. And then we have basic minimum, which is said by Pio. Then we have Evelyn who says total disconnect. Betty says active disengagement. Florence says withdraw of relevant skills from the job while still in the employment. Cornelia says presentism. Frank says where employees perform with minimum and doing business as usual, no extra effort. Proscovia says mentally checking out, but before physically leaving. But then I think we also have quiet quitting in marriages. You know? Yeah, I think so. Catherine says neither here nor there. Kagirima says grumbling and yet enjoying your pay and employer space. George says just waiting for the right time to call it time. Feeling underutilized. As long as I keep the paycheck coming, what else I do doesn't matter. I may as well do my bare minimum. Wow. And then we have Sheila saying waiting for end, man. Winnie says acting. Wait, where is acting? Acting okay, but withdrawn. Kennedy says carrying out your roles for the sake of it. Wow. You guys have quite a way of explaining this concept, and we are happy to have the coach back. So make wait. Just 1 second. Make co-host. Yes. All right. I am spotlighting Catherine for the sake of our people. So welcome back, Coach. We were discussing what people say quiet quitting is, and we discovered that quiet quitting is also in marriage. In fact, somebody says, Harriet says, in public offices, they leave the jacket on the chair and do personal errands. In marriage, yes, people quit, but appear together in public.
Yeah. Yes, all right answers. My apologies. I think I'm switching networks, so because of circumstances beyond my control here. Okay, so we've already said it. In the context of employment, it's when an employee restricts their work effort to the bare minimum. What is required, not going above and beyond one's job duties. No overtime, no stepping outside your job obligations, and no extra miles, silent withdrawal. In relationships, like somebody said in marriage, when you're talking of quiet quitting, what do? You when you hear your partner saying you don't love me anymore, and the other partner says, but I provide school fees, I pay rent, I buy food in the house, what exactly are you doing? We tell the men that you haven't started adding value. That is the bare minimum required in in the relationship in the African context. So you have quietly quit the relationship because there is no value, no value added. So at the workplace, it means we are literally doing just enough to do my results without going the extra mile. And yes, as we've seen, it manifests in different contexts, in different ways. And what happens? Where did this all come from? It actually started around early this year. It's not even more than a year old. And fortunately, you had the main host saying that they are setting the trend. So they are telling you what's hot. It's not even a year old as far as what's hot is concerned. And the origins are not yet clear, but it was informally defined on TikTok in a video by Zaid Khan. And after that, it was picked up, mentioned by some inspirational speakers, a comedian, and a hustle preacher before it caught traction and was picked around mid 2022, being talked about in the business Zeitgeist. And then as we speak right now, it has been picked up by a number of practitioners in a number of organizations, but it hasn't yet entered academia and research. There's a bit of research we've seen in the areas of action research. The Gallups of this world are already talking about quiet quitting, the Zeitgeists. But as far as academic and empirical research is concerned, we haven't yet seen publications coming out in the area of quiet quitting. Now, let's ask ourselves the next thing. Why? Why is it an issue anyway? One, it affects productivity as far as the employers can see. And we're looking at this from the employer's perspective. Maybe next time when we interact, we look at it from the employee's perspective. Then we can also look at it from the trade union's perspective. There's also a perspective from the lawyers, but we are looking at it from an employer's perspective for today. And we are saying we see less productivity, which affects profitability, which affects shareholder value and subsequently economic growth. That's why it's an issue. And that's why Atara picked it up as a trend issue, because again, for employers, we want productive people. For companies, we want profits. For shareholders, we want value. And for governments, we want economic growth. That's why quiet quitting is a big deal as we speak right now. What are the premises in management research? Where do we find quiet quitting as enshrined in management research? Management research shows us quiet quitting manifesting in what we call organizational citizenship behavior. You can smell tenets of quiet quitting in employee engagement. You hear the psychological contract as an aspect of having an aspect linked to quiet quitting. We have psychological attachment, we have stress and stress management, we have burnout, we have motivation, we have job satisfaction. All these have pointers towards what quiet quitting is and solutions towards engaging with quiet quitting. So we'll just quickly say, how do we see this manifesting? The prevalence, according to Gallup 2022, over 50% of the US workforce has been affected or is affected by quiet quitting. The US Bureau of Labor and Statistics tells us there is a 74-year low on worker productivity. We don't have Africa data yet, but globally we are observing that it costs companies over $150 billion per annum. So it's a big deal as we speak. And if you are in the business of mitigating quiet quitting, you are saving the globe or companies about $150 billion. If you're in the consulting business, that is a market you can tap into. How do we see quiet quitting? People get disengaged, not once, but persistently. There are cases where you get disengaged and we see you disengaged on account of an issue that's happening at home. You had beef with somebody. That is one of, and we call that popcorn disengagement. You know, popcorn pops once, but there's disengagement that is chronic, that is persistent, and that's what comprises a manifestation of quiet quitting. We also have withdrawals. People withdraw from voluntary group activities, tasks, and conversations. Then we have what we call psychological absence. You're here, but not really here. In Africa, we say, I'm here, but my heart is at home. That is a sort of disengagement where you're physically present, but psychologically absent. That is a manifestation of quiet quitting. If you're engaging in a meeting and you talk to somebody who has been psychologically absent, they'll probably take you back, or they'll be lost in track even when you ask them a question. Then there's slack. A manifestation of quiet quitting is that there seems to be we have some slack in the organization. These are things you look out for if you're trying to observe what is happening. But know that if in the US it's already 50% in the workforce, and productivity is at a 74-year low, I'm waiting for Africa data to come in. But we know once we begin to collect, whoever participates in Gallup surveys in Africa, we shall begin seeing the Africa picture very soon. If anybody seems to want to delve deep into looking at what quiet quitting is. Okay, so we are talking of manifestations of quiet quitting. We highlighted the prevalence. The statistics coming out of the US and a bit of Europe, and but there is not much statistics coming out of Africa. We've seen over 50% of the US workforce is quietly quitting. There are subtle dynamics relating to the generational differences in the workforce, but that's a subject for another day. The US Bureau of Labor and Statistics is saying they are at a 74-year low as far as productivity is concerned, and it is costing $150 billion per annum. And that's a big deal as far as employers are concerned. When we see persistent disengagement, when we see withdrawal, when we see psychological absence amongst employees, and we see slack, then we are beginning to smell quiet quitting. And that's what we are, let me also use the word quietly talking about. So what do employers do? How do you go about this? Because quiet quitting is person to holder. Quiet quitting is not something that we can do as a group unless we are taking industrial action like Kenya Airways is doing. But Kenya Airways is not quietly quitting. The pilots are actively actively quitting, trying to induce actions by management in their favor. So we ask ourselves, who exactly is doing quiet quitting? Who is manifesting quiet quitting behavior? And then we go into identifying the cause rather of quiet quitting. We ask ourselves, what exactly is this causing? What is causing quiet quitting? And we establish the extent to which quiet quitting is happening, whether it may border on the breach of contract and its impact as well. I will be telling you that the things you'll be looking out for and potential tools and practices you can use. Again, the beauty about quiet quitting and management practice is there is a lot of existing tools that can give you pointers towards quiet quitting. Okay, so we will also ask ourselves where, in terms of how do we prioritize the interventions we are going to impact. Where exactly are we going to impact quiet quitting, and we focus and prioritize those that impact the bottom line. And then when, because quiet quitting, as from the definition and description, is chronic, meaning it is persistent. It is not a one-off. It's not something that pops like a popcorn. You have to structure your interventions in such a manner that prevention, detection, and treatment. Let me use the word treatment because right now I'm in the supporting the health sector. Treatment of quiet quitting are institutionalized. So we are not saying do a one-off and forget about it. No, it's not like taking a nap and waking up. It's like taking a bath. You must have a bath every day. And so interventions to manage quiet quitting must be done on a daily basis. So the bottom line with managing quiet quitting is as follows. Leverage the supermarket of existing HR management tools. There are many, and you address this across the entire employment life cycle to resolve quiet quitting. You manage expectations through the psychological contract. You look at workload without pay. Do not increase workload. You'll be affecting job satisfaction. Listen through your employees through employee engagement initiatives. Leverage employee recognition mechanisms, performance management and reward. Build supportive manager-employee relationships, but make sure there are boundaries. You can also implement low-cost employee assistance initiatives, and then you can also create a culture of succession planning. All these are actions you can do to stem quiet quitting. Now, the trick about quiet quitting is it talks about the employee experience. Those of you in the private sector know what CX is, which is customer experience. Many of you know what EX is, which is employee experience. If you want to impact quiet quitting and deal with it, prevent it, control it, or treat it, you must focus on improving the employee experience, which is at psychological level. It can be at psychological emotional level. It can be at physical level. It can be at social cultural level, and it can be technological. And there is a very famous framework for dealing with improving the employee experience, which we call the 6A framework. Again, this is of basic tools that are already in existence. Make your organization and its brand attractive. This is at entry level. Be authentic in terms of improving trust, openness, and transparency and comfort between the employer and employee. Open information sharing and things like that. And again, I want to be clear with the team that while employees demand access to all information in the organization, we always tell employees, if you are an employee, you can only get information on a need-to-know basis. And in HR, we always give you this very simple example. If Andy was harassing somebody at branch X sexually and it was reported to the HR manager, who happens to be our chief moderator, she will pull the person from the branch to the head office, but she will not have to put an announcement that we are investigating Andy for sexual harassment. So there has to be a degree to which the authenticity and trust is managed, but the perception of openness and transparency should be very loud and clear. Accessibility is another framework of improving the employee experience and mitigating quiet quitting. You ease access to systems, tools, and processes. You manage the balance between bureaucracy and democratization of decision-making. And then make your organization agile and adaptable and resilient, enabling it to be flexible with employees across in light of the dynamic environments. If you say we have, like in Uganda right now, there is Ebola, but you say everyone must continue coming to work, and people are saying, I think it is risky because of the transmission mechanisms. Not everyone has a private car. We use public means. The money we touch, giving to the conductor, what will the organization do about it? If you become less adaptable, you will find employees quitting quietly. They'll only do the bare minimum they have to do to get by and collect a paycheck. Then, of course, alignment. There's a lot we talk about that we don't preach. We don't practice. And the essence of being improving the employee experience is to practice what you preach as an organization. What they heard about you and what you can do at entry should be what they experience while they're in the organization and even when they're quitting. And then the 6th A is be aspirational. there should be a nexus between your future and the employee's future. They should see their future in you, and you should see your future in them, and put that into practice. That is something you'll get by to reduce the quiet quitting impact. So what is the impact? If we manage quiet quitting, we will deal with the things we talked about. Productivity will improve, profit will grow, and shareholder value will increase, and we'll finally get economic growth. And this is for the members who are with us who work with government. And that's why it is of interest to you as well to see what quiet quitting is all about. What lessons are we drawing from this? Do not panic. It's a big deal, yes, but do not panic. Quiet quitting is old wine in a new wineskin. Quiet quitting is detectable. Quiet quitting is preventable. Quiet quitting can be treated or managed, and there are tools that exist for the HR practitioner to deal with quiet quitting. So do not panic. A feeling that this is happening in your organization. Let's just move to the next slide. If you're a CEO and you're part of this team, reach out to Atara Solutions and Coach Andy. We can help you with quiet quitting. If you're an employee, you can book a one-on-one session with us if you want individual help. If you're a lawyer, we can work with you and your companies to represent the companies you represent to embed the expected job behaviors into work contracts. If you're a labor union and you want to engage your organization with quiet quitting, we can also be here for you. And if you're an HR practitioner and you want to stem quiet quitting, we can work with you to institutionalize measures to detect, prevent, or treat quiet quitting. I would like to stop there and ask if you have any questions. Over.
Yes, and Coach Andy, we can probably have you back on camera as we take the questions. But yeah, I mean, you have really quite simplified this, because I know that quite a number of the people who are logged on to this call today are mostly either employers or representative of employers in the name of HR and business owners or business leaders. And as such, this is something that is affecting their organizations, and they're expected to actually give a solution. So my question is, what are some of the ways? I know we can do this on a one-to-one in terms of specific organizations, but how can you tell that an employee is disengaged? Do they leave at 5 o'clock? What are some of the symptoms that we can see, Coach?
Thank you. I hope you hear me.
Yes.
Great. So the symptoms are very clear. The disengagement can be measured through surveys. Slack can be noticed because they are not being productive. What else did we talk about in terms of withdrawal? Can be noticed in terms of activity. Psychological absence can be noticed. So you will be able to tell this person is no longer with us, though they are with us. You will be able to see that the person's level of effort has reduced. They only do what they're supposed to do. If you watch movies or soaps, I don't know what they call them, where they're in the West, where children are attending class, when the bell rings, they all step up and walk out. They simply are there to attend up to the time the class ends. Employees who quit quietly do the same. They'll not put an extra level of effort. In management research, we'll say there is no social, organizational citizenship behavior. I found the lights on, to whom it may concern, I'll walk out without turning them off. Lights off. I found I'm leaving office, the fridge is on. There is no need for me to leave it on. I don't bother turning it off. It's none of my business. So those are kinds of symptoms you look out for. People are disengaged. They are not with you psychologically. Their hearts are somewhere. We had somebody saying you leave the coat, the coat in the office, this is common in public service. And you can even have the coat in office, but you are attending to everybody else's business. You can even be at your laptop, but you're doing your side gig. So all these are elements of quiet quitting that you can observe. But there are tools like the surveys, job satisfaction surveys can give you indications of quiet quitting. Gallup Q12 can give you indications of quiet quitting. There are quite a number of current tools that we have. Over.
All right. And Nick is saying, I like how quiet quitting is now becoming an area of focus for most organizations. My only worry is whether we are addressing the symptom rather than digging the root cause. What do you think?
Quiet quitting is a manifestation of a cause, which is okay. So what we are trying to draw your attention to is, like we said in the employer actions, find out who is experiencing or is manifesting quiet quitting, and then find out why. If you go into why, then you'll be able to go through the root cause. It may be job satisfaction, it may dissatisfaction, it may be burnout, it may be stress, it may be violation of the psychological contract, it may be disattachment or disengagement. There are so many reasons. And the why is why we say there is a whole set of tools in the management supermarket, which I normally call it a management supermarket. It may also be resistance to change. Quiet quitting can be a manifestation of resistance to change. So it is a symptom that can point you to so many diseases or so many root causes, and just look at it as a symptom before you establish the root cause. Over.
All right. And Moses is saying, what are some of the tools that we can use to deal with quiet quitting?
Okay, so there's tools to invest to identify, there's tools to detect, which I've already mentioned. Then there's tools you can use to stem or mitigate. And I've also mentioned a number of them. One, at onboarding, be very clear about expectations so that you manage the psychological contract. An employee will come to you and say, I expect you to pay for my professional certification. I expect you to pay for my master's degree. I expect you to pay for my doctorate. And you as an organization, at the back of your mind, you're thinking, but we don't do accounting certifications anymore because the labor market is now saturated with certified accountants. So that mismatch in terms of expectations will trigger a violated psychological contract, which will lead to quiet quitting. So what do? Manage expectations, be clear from the get-go. We also talked about walk the talk. Management can say something but acts differently. That also breaches the psychological contract and also causes what we call cognitive dissonance. What you believe and what you observe, there's a conflict. I normally use the church orientation, or I hope there's nobody under 18. When you're going to get married and you've not been sexually active before, you have all these visions of what sex shall be. And on the first night, you experience a lot of pain. There will be a clash in your brain. Is it as bad or is it as good as I thought? And when there's that clash in your brain, then you immediately say, I think I'm not going to enjoy this marriage, for example. You'll almost begin quietly quitting, especially in the area of physical intimacy. That's a typical example you would use. So manage expectations, be very clear on what the person should be doing, walk the talk. This is what we promised to do, and this is what we're going to do. And we've talked about manage performance, recognize employees, engage them and listen to them through surveys, through feedback, be open and trustworthy. And I gave you the 6 A's of the employee experience. Be a brand that is authentic. Be a brand that is aligned with the employees, or demonstrate that their vision is aligned with yours. So there are many things we can do. This presentation will definitely share with you the details. Over.
All right. And I know for the sake of Mary and the others, somebody is asking, please explain what you mean by psychological contract.
Okay. Psychological contracts. I'll go again to relationships because it's the thing that people get the best. When you get into a relationship with somebody, a man or a woman, let me use even marriage. When you go and get married, you sign a paper which is called a marriage certificate. And but when you go home, the husband, whom we call the spouse, and the wife we'll call the spice, the spouse expects the wife to go to the kitchen to clean the house, to do the housework, but it's not written anywhere. It was not on the certificate. It was not written on the wall anywhere. It was not written even in those holy books you use, but there is a certain expectation that the woman should do that. The woman also expects the man to bring bread home. She expects the man that the rent is there, the health insurance is covered, but it's not written anywhere. So a psychological contract is the unwritten expectations between two parties. In this case, since we are looking at employment, we are looking at employee and employer. That is what a psychological contract is. You come to the organization, you expect them to pay for your airtime. The organization says no. The organization expects you to close windows when it's raining. You're not expecting to close windows. You expect them to have an office cleaner or something who will open and close windows. So that's the essence of a psychological contract. The keyword is unwritten expectations between two parties. Over.
All right. And Jacinta is saying, if someone quits and he proposes to become a consultant, how do you handle it? And this is after being slack.
Sometimes they can even quit without being slack. I wish I could give you my experience, but maybe I'll share it at another occasion. If somebody quits and proposes to be a consultant, that might be their motivation. The question is, consulting in your very organization or consulting outside your organization? If they're consulting in your organization, you definitely know the person's performance levels. So you simply work through the procurement practice and process. If you get a better one, you'll definitely hire a better one. So you have mechanisms and tools to avoid bringing the person back on board as a consultant if you know the person's performance level. Some people are very good, but they slack, and then they want to bounce back as consultants, and they still excel as consultants. The slack is not quiet quitting does not demonstrate that you have no skills. Let's be clear about that. Quiet quitting talks about me just doing what is absolutely required of me to get this contract out of the way or to do my job. And that is what quiet quitting is all about. You can have an A employee who is the best, the most technically sound, produces the best results, but they switch into quiet quitting mode. What stops them from being consultants? So let's be very clear. Quiet quitting does not directly relate to a person's skill or ability. No, it is the attitude that I can only do, or I should only do what is necessary for me to keep this job as long as I'm not violating the contract. I hope that is clear. Over.
All right. And I like this question by Wilter. Coach Andy, don't you think the organization management contributes to a lot of quiet quitting? And I read that in relation to what Madhangani has said. There's a lot of toxicity and increase in poor work ethics and poor mental health in workplaces. So are we as organizations or as employers in facilitating quiet quitting?
I would use the word schools of thought. The schools of thought are you're using a problem-oriented approach, negativist, and then you have a positivist approach where you take responsibility for your action in the process of quiet quitting. The employer, yes, has a role to play in terms of improving the employee experience. There's a lot the employer can do to make the employee experience beautiful. There is also a lot the employee can do to enable or to support management, make their experience better by way of providing feedback, etc., etc. Of course, that's the ideal. Like we've had, there are people who don't walk the talk, and we've said part of the aspect of improving the employee experience is walking the talk. So if you don't walk the talk as an organization or as management, you'll definitely have an issue with quiet quitting. So there is a shared responsibility. We cannot blame the organization 100%, and we cannot blame the employee 100%, but definitely the organization has a huge responsibility in improving the employee experience. Learning from building your attractiveness, being authentic, being accessible, being adaptable, aligning and aspirational. So there are things that an organization can do. For the employee, there are other things that you can do, which means share your feedback, and at the worst case, take what we call it, industrial action. Over.
All right. And Lucy is saying some employees get into institutions to mark time, and once they are ready, they just quit. Say someone is eyeing another institution and therefore joins another opportunity as they wait for feedback from the other side. How can this qualify to be quiet quitting?
Again, the essence of quiet quitting is why the employee joins the organization is something, but the focus of this discussion is when they join, do they do more than is expected? If they do the bare minimum, they are quiet quitting. I don't blame any single employee who joins an organization and uses it as a stepping stone to move to the next level, because organizations use employees to move to the next level. What is important is being committed to your commitment, to your contract. And we always say, don't fall in love with your job, be committed to it. So the employee who wakes up today and says, let me work here in the meantime as I explore greater opportunity, as an HR manager, we should be saying, oh, yes, we want you to reach the best potential you will be. We don't want to hold on to you if you can explore greater heights, because you might come back tomorrow as our CEO. So let's be clear that employees are within their rights contractually to do what is expected of them on the job. What we work with lawyers to do is whatever the organization expects, try to reflect it in the contract, even if the behaviors are those that would be the extras that we want them to do. And so you see in public service, they capture and any other duties. In private sector, we try to avoid that. But in public service, they say part of your key result area is what? And any other duties. What are they trying to do? To smuggle in behaviors that would be extra over and above, so as to minimize quiet quitting. So you walk in, you have a contract, you want to wait for the organization as you look for another opportunity. You as the employer make the experience of the employee so good that they do not want to leave to look for another job. That is the role of the employer. Over.
All right, interesting. There's another interesting question that I have seen here by Lucy. Is it proper to recruit a candidate who just joined another institution, say 2 months ago, and the person is now being interviewed for another role? Could this caliber of people be professional quiet quitters?
We are going to get a term from these seminars now. Professional quiet quitters.
You know?
That's a good one. Okay. Let's be very clear. To employers, quiet quitting costs them productivity. Let's be very clear about that. Okay. To employees, quiet quitting is an expression of disgruntlement. To lawyers, there is nothing wrong with quiet quitting as long as you deliver on the contract. You get that? So if I'm looking at it from an employee's point of view and I say, okay, I'm here, but I'm applying for another job, I must survive. This is the only job available in the COVID period. So God bless me. Thank you for giving me this job, but I feel I have better potential and I'm more attractive in terms of pay in another job. There is no law stopping the employee from moving, and they are not quiet quitters. The question for us as employers is we have to be able to find out why they've joined us and their staying power. You get that? How long are we likely to keep them in the organization? And there's a metric for that. You get that? New employee turnover. So if you do a metric over the years, you see which kinds of new employees, which specialties turnover or exit the organization within the first 6 months of employment. You can prepare a strategy to that effect to manage, either by way of creating churn or making sure there is a pool of candidates available for such roles. For example, in IT, we know if you are very good, it is very rare for you to survive 2 years in an organization before somebody snatches you out. So again, if you have this kind of problem, reach out to Atara Solutions, reach out to Coach Ande. We'll walk you through all this. This is an issue that you can deal with contractually and also at the entry point from a recruitment perspective. Over.
All right, and allow me to mention this webinar series is brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with Balcon Housing, Stallion Construction Company Limited, and tonight, Standard Quality Consulting Services. There's another question from Marston. Employers have found themselves in awkward situations in the midst of shrinking economic muscle emanating from the fluid economic environments. This has led to some organizations. Oh yeah, Steadfast. Oh my God. Yeah, Steadfast Quality Limited. Why am I calling it Standard? Anyway, Steadfast. I apologize, Herbert. Where was I? Employers have found themselves in awkward situations in the midst of shrinking economic muscle emanating from the fluid economic environment. This has led to some organizations introducing measures that may have catalyzed quiet quitting. How do organizations then deal with this? So where is the balance?
Yeah,
there's no money to do these activities, then there's, where's the balance?
Yeah, let's observe what Elon Musk did when he took over Twitter recently. He said we are bleeding $4 million per day or per month, per day. And we can't do this. So he went and fired very many employees. I mean, that is extreme. This is a guy who has the money and can afford to tell you, get out of my face, and he can pay you 10 years wages in advance if you get to his nerves, more or less. Let's understand that the basis and basic of business is not to make people happy. The purpose of a business is to make profit. When the economic downturn comes, the business works towards cutting costs in whatever means possible, to the extent that they'll say, okay, I think the last straw is when we pull the plug under the personnel, under the staff. So if you find yourself in a shrinking economic environment and you're a CEO, the best thing for you to do is, if you can't engage the employees to take a pay cut during the period, work out a restructuring and phase out up to the point when you will be back into a profitable position. If you have this orientation that, oh, let's pray, let's wait for things to happen, things will change, hang in there, you can use that for a while. But if you have Ebola for 5 years, you'll close shop. So as an employee, know the organization is there for profit. The day the economy hits, they'll start cutting costs. For you, you're lucky they're reducing programs. Some people, like Twitter, other people are going out because they are bleeding the organization. So yes, keep that at the back of your mind. You can't blame the employer, and we can't blame the employee. So if there is a downtown, it can be a negotiated solution. Over.
All right. So before we ask the question from Nick, which is quite interesting, and a comment from Wilter Rope, allow me to share the offers by Pathway Solutions. We have offers for individuals. If you're here and you want to study on the LMS, we have offers from Pathway Solutions. And this is fully sponsored. So you are required to just send me and Frank an email. Frank is typing his email right now. Frank, please type in your email. And myself, Grace Nzula, you can also email me on grace@atarasolutions.co.ke. And what are you emailing us with? You are telling us the 2 courses that you wish to be sponsored and a reason why you think you deserve the sponsorship. And The courses on offer tonight for individuals is 1, conflict resolution, 2, customer service, 3, change management, 4, handling difficult customers, 5, networking outside the company. This one are offers for individuals. So if you're on this call and you wish to take on any of these 2, then this offer is for you, and it is fully sponsored by Pathway Solutions on their LMS. LMS is Learning Management System. And by the way, they also offer you certificates at the end of it all. So do not be left out. Make sure you manage to do the courses, do the test, which is if you score over 65, which is easy to do that, then you get a certificate offered by Pathway Solutions, which is very beautiful. And then we have for companies, 10 companies, each 2 trainings are offered these trainings this Tuesday. We have high performance teams. This is for remote workers. We have millennial onboarding. We have employee motivation, developing corporate behavior, emotional intelligence at workplace, conducting annual performance review, trust building, and resilience. So if you want to get sponsored for this, for your organization, this is for companies. For those of you from East Africa, from Zambia, from wherever it is you are, Frank will be able to deliver these trainings for free for about 1.5 hours on Zoom or Google Meet, and they can take up to 500 people, so do not be left out. So the offers are high performance teams for remote working, millennial onboarding, employee motivation, developing corporate behavior, emotional intelligence, conducting annual performance reviews, and trust building and resilience. Please make sure you take advantage of these offers by Pathway Solutions in partnership with the Tara Solutions. Please send us an email. I'm sure Frank and Jacinta, you're typing both our emails on the chat, so that we are able to give people the offers by Pathway Solutions. Yeah, thank you very much. I've seen Kevin has posted Frank's and mine. Kevin, you have only shared with me. You've sent it separately. Anyway, Andrew, back to the questions as we finalize this session for tonight. There's another comment, or rather, there's a question by Nick. Nick, we need... yeah, I hope you're coming for the meet and greet. But Nick says, does quiet quitting in relationships, or rather at home, possibly also lead to quiet quitting at work? And this is in psychological essence, do you think?
Oh, yes. Again, I'm hoping I'm speaking to an adult group. You wake up and you want what partners call morning glory, and you don't get your morning glory from your partners, and you walk out of home and you want to go to your office, and you're sexually dissatisfied because you didn't have morning glory. You take out your stress on people and you say, let me just do the bare minimum I should do, and I go home. So quiet quitting at home can impact quiet quitting at work, because it's the same brain you're carrying. You're not going to leave the brain at home and then take the rest of the body back to the office. So the brain in quiet quitting mode at home may also manifest at work. Some people, when they're under stress at home, they produce more results at work because they feel they have something to prove. To say, okay, let me show you that I can still excel. You may call me a bad husband at home, but when I go to work, I'm the king of my space, and I produce results. And you'll be watching me on TV, and tomorrow you'll smile. Oh, this is my partner, or this is my wife, and then we'll go back to normal. So it depends. This brain is very hard to decipher. There are as many opinions, and not opinions, but thoughts, and as fleeting as the hairs on our heads. Unfortunately, my head doesn't have that many, so the opinions are few. Over.
All right. And the final comment from Wilter Ropp. I think the emergence of quiet quitting in 2022 may have caused by measures taken by organizations to address job security of employees due to financial challenges, which is true. Some employers selectively disengaged some and rewarded some in some unclear circumstances or discriminatory manner. That's a comment from Rob Willita. So I think we are aligned. So if you're here on this call and you're quiet quitting, you need to figure out a way to balance it so that as you quit, you quit. You know. but just try and give the employer your worth. I think sometimes it's really easy to quit when you're up high. I think you even increase chances of coming back as a consultant, or just being referred to when you go out there and you're doing other things. And even when they're called as reference checks, I think it's really important that you leave when you're high. So it's very important when you feel like you're quiet quitting, you need to also check yourself out. And then I have seen a comment from Brian who says, some of us can never quiet quit on the LMS by Pathway Solutions. Thank you very much, Frank. You are awesome. And another comment from Millicent who says, don't miss out on these offers. I and my company really gained a lot, and I have learned a lot through LMS. Modesta says, Frank, I'm forever grateful for the trainings. So you see, you guys, we are a partner with quite creating some impact, and I'm glad that we are now going to bring on Coach Ande on board, because we are in this together, both Kampala, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and we have Zambia. I think those are the people. I have seen some names that I know from those countries. Nonetheless, I am sure we are creating impact, and I am seeing the comments on the chat which are saying very, very good. So we are excited about our meet and greet session coming up next week on Friday at the Weston Hotel. So please make sure that you come. We have Catherine Sidandi will be in the house, courtesy of Pathway Solutions. Frank has been able, Catherine is based in Mombasa. She is being brought into Nairobi by Pathway Solutions, and her ticket for the event is also being catered for by Pathway Solutions. So thank you very much, Pathway Solutions, for your partnership. We will also be with Balcon Housing on site. Stallion Construction will be on site as well. And among other partners, we will also have most of the speakers that we've hosted who are in Kenya mostly. And even if you're a Ugandan and you're here, because I think we've hosted, oh yeah, okay. Frank will not be here, but I'm sure he's doing a recording for something. So we are all aligned. Wewe Master Miner, I better see you next week, Friday. Yo, unajua si mchezo. Yo, we are not joking around. So thank you so much, guys, for being Coach Ande, please. We normally finish with a parting shot. What is your parting shot? And Nick Kasivi, do not go and practice quitting at home. I'm just using an example. Oh yeah, and please join our WhatsApp group. Gosh, I almost forgot that. Join our WhatsApp group. Jacinta has shared the link on the chat. Please stay tuned on what is happening with the Tara Solutions. We share all the recordings on the chat. Of course, we will share on email as well. However, the people on the WhatsApp receive it quicker. You also get to know what's coming up on Get It Right with the Tara Solutions on the WhatsApp group. So please join us and keep it there, because we are the official trend setters of the country, and we are here to support each other and create deep impact. So allow me to also just recognize, just 1 minute before we finalize this. Did I ask you to do your parting shot? I'll allow you to give it shortly. So of course, we recognize Balcon Housing. We also recognize Stallion Construction Company Limited, Pathway Solutions, Essence Park Limited, Panessa Training Institute, Weekly, Kapula Muntito, Profiles International, and Steadfast Quality Solutions Limited. This webinar today is actually brought to you by Atara Solutions in partnership with Steadfast Quality Solutions Limited, where Coach Ande and my good friend Herbert Zake are making a difference like no man's business. So, and you have heard, we have solutions for you. So do not be stuck, yeah? And please remember, Jacinta, please put the registration link for the meet and greet both here and on Facebook. Our people on Facebook, gosh, let me come and see whether we have a question. No, we don't have a question on Facebook, which is fine. So back on Zoom, gosh, bring yourself back on Zoom. Okay, I have to stop sharing screen. Then here we are. All right. Here we go. The WhatsApp link is shared. So please don't forget to join us on Friday next week from 5:30 p.m. The dress code is the touch of African. No, you don't have to go shopping for new clothes. If you're a lady, you can just wear African earrings. If you're a gentleman, you can put something in your pocket that's African. However, feel free. Be free to express yourself in the most African way you know how. And then, of course, do not forget to become a certified emotional intelligence practitioner. This is brought to you by Profiles International. The classes are starting on 15th of November. Please do not be left out. This is so important. You have no idea, especially for people who are also transitioning into directorship levels or into business. So do not be left out on this. You're right. Please type WhatsApp number. The WhatsApp link is here. It has been shared. Where is the WhatsApp? Jacinta, you can reshare. And to Mr. Willita Rob. Is it Mr. or Miss? Willita Rob. Yeah. Parting shot, Coach Andy.
Thanks. Thank you very much, Grace. What is there to part with? Just be you. Be clear about why you want to quit, and don't be lukewarm. There is a big book somewhere that says if you are neither hot nor cold, you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out of my mouth. I hope you don't get spat out of the organization for being a quiet quitter. And yes, employers, do your best to improve the employee experience. You'll really make life a lot better for employees, and everything will go well. Thank you, and it's been good to be part of this. You can look me up on YouTube, Coach Andy. You can look me up on Twitter, and I'll definitely share the slides with you. And you can also download them on my YouTube handle.
All right, Valerie, I have seen your question. If you can scroll up, the emails have been shared. Frank, maybe you can type the email again. There's somebody who's asking for the email on that, and I'm not even able to see it. But all right, I'm sure you'll type it again, and Jacinta, you can share mine so that Valerie is able to connect with us. And if not, you can also join the WhatsApp group. We can share the email addresses there. All right, so thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have been honored. Thank you so much, Coach Ande, for doing this, especially jumping in on such short notice. You are wonderful. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. Thank you for taking the time to even prepare for this. We appreciate you. Thank you, Herbert Zake, for coming through for us. I don't know what we can do for you, but we really, really appreciate your partnership. We thank you for the good work that you're doing. If you're Kenyan and you have a team in Uganda and you're stuck, talk to me. I'll show you ways of reaching out. But yes, so please follow us on Instagram at Tara Solutions, like our Facebook page at Tara Solutions, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Tara Solutions. And besides all that, see you next Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. as we tackle another very, very important topic that affects employers and employees. As always, you know, we do not play around with these things. And yes, see you on Friday as well at the meet and greet. Make sure you start shopping today. Get your dancing shoes on. We have an awesome panel of discussion. One was the first East African master coach. The other one is an MD come HR of a very huge organization in Kenya. The other one is a lawyer. And we have an awesome keynote address. My God, it's gonna be lit. So we are networking next Friday. We are learning, we are eating, we are drinking, we are dancing, and we are making merry. That is what is the plan for next Friday. So make sure that you're not left out. Other than that, thank you so much. See you next Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. as we discuss other matters. Shamim, thank you so much. It's good to see you around. Shamim is the Vice President of HR Mao. It's really nice to see you, Shamim. So thank you so much, and make sure that you register for this event, and have yourselves a lovely, lovely, lovely night. You guys are awesome. We wouldn't do this without you. So thank you. Catherine Sidandi, we appreciate you. Asante sana. The team at Tara Solutions, Kevin, Jacinta, David, and all of you, we appreciate you. Asanteni sana, and have a good night.
Good night.
You can engage in the chat, Coach, if you wish, for a while.
Oh, sure. Thank you.